Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, and today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to look at a new rifle scope that I ordered. As you'll recall, when I was messing with my 10-22 the other day, I was pounding around on the other one and hoping it'd get damaged so I could get a new one. Well, it didn't get damaged, but I did get a new one anyway. I found a really low-priced scope with a lot of features and a lot of magnification, and so I ordered the little booger. I think it was $42 and it come to $49 something with the shipping. So we're going to give that a look see here in a minute. We're going to take it to the range and Pierre, quit. Either make the screen big or small, but just you're driving me nuts. Up down here. Okay. Phil, hey, Phil, take the mouse away from me, okay? Just take the mouse away. There, that's better. All right. Anyway, what we're going to do today is we're going to go ahead and take a little look at the scope, and then we're going to take it out to the range, and we're going to use it. And I'll have to admit that I've already used it before I did the review, and I like it. So, without getting any deeper into a load of BS here, let's go and take a look at the scope. I got this CVLife rifle scope a few days ago. It actually came through Amazon through some kind of resale agreement they have with other companies, I guess. Came in this nice box, and supposed to have fog and waterproof lenses and fully coated lenses and shock and recoil proof. It's got a nice wide field of view. It's a 6-24 power scope with a 50mm lens up front, and the box is not really very descriptive of it, but it comes even with a set of scope rings, although I use another type myself for 22s. But it does come with scope rings. These are the ones it came with. And I'll keep hold of them just in case I need them for something. And they're a little tall maybe, but I use a one-piece scope mount, and I'll show it to you here in just a second. This scope comes with an illuminated reticle, and take the little cover off here. You got your normal adjustments for windage and elevation. Up front, you've got a focus for the distance up to infinity. Back here, you've got a ring to choose the magnification. This little guy turns on the lighted reticle in either green or red, and this little eyepiece here adjusts things to suit your eye. And I'm going to go handheld here for a second and show you a few things up close. Up front here, this is the nice big lens. We'll come over here, and I've got it set right now for 15 yards because I've been using this for the 22 Fun Sunday. But it adjusts right on out. The last marked adjustment's 150 yards, and that's a pretty long shot for a 22 rifle. 150 yards. I would say you should probably top out at about 100 yards if you're going to shoot at anything with this small a weapon. Alright, so we come back here. Like I say, this is a 6-24 power, and you've got this ring that brings around the magnification for you. The previous scope I had on here that you guys saw me banging around was a 6-9 magnification. I mean 6-9, it was a 3-9 magnification, and it wasn't but just a little bit better than your bare eye. Alright, so here's your eye piece here. You can adjust to fit whatever your vision is. And I'm really tickled to death with that. I've already taken this thing, like I said, and used it. I sighted it in by, first I put my little laser thing in the barrel and sighted it in down the hallway. And then I took it out to the range, and I thought, well, should be pretty close. I ran out to 50 yards and hung up a target, and I backed off and shot at it, and I couldn't see a hit anywhere. And I took another shot. After about 4 or 5 shots, I started to shoot way low, and I didn't see anything. Then I shot low and to the right, and up near the top of the target there's a little hole. So I discovered my my little laser adjustment really didn't do any didn't really do any good to get me really close on. So I moved over to the 25-yard backstop like I should have, and I zeroed the thing in. And then when I went to the 50-yard target, I was only shooting just about an inch high and half an inch left, maybe an inch left, and I got all that, you know, zeroed in pretty quick. And then it would eat up the middle of the target, at least as good as a you know, a 10-22 will with your regular ammo. I didn't use any special ammunition. I was just using Federal auto match, which seemed to work good. Alright, we're going to take a look through the scope here. When I first mounted the scope on the rifle, I used this little guy right here. He's comes with little plastic bushings to go on the end here, and these little plastic bushings will be sized to fit different, you know, barrel diameters. And you just take the little guy, shove him down the barrel, and then turn it. You turn it like that to tighten up the screw that's in the end of that little plastic piece, and it expands the plastic out in the barrel and holds it solid. Then you can turn the little thing there, turn on the laser. You can see the little bugger shining on my hand, and that shines down the hallway here against the wall someplace. Let me move it back just a little bit. There, you can see it on the wall, I think, down there. And so now we'll take a little look through the scope. I have a special mount to hook movie cameras on the back end of a scope, but I put the scope on and it didn't leave enough room for the mount. I'll have to change that next time. Okay, you can see through the scope that well, it's hard to get it straight on. But anyway, you can see through the scope, you can see that dot down there. That's where the little laser thing's pointing, and it's not exactly right. You can see why I was high and left, because it depends on how straight you get it in the barrel as to how good it does. Sometimes it's not too great. Alright, let's turn the little knob here, and we get a green lighted reticle. And make another little turn. I think that turns the brightness up. And we keep turning, we'll come to red. It's hard to keep the stupid camera in a good spot. And then the different variations in the red until we're back to just a normal black reticle, which I like best. It's hard to keep them hidden things. Handheld here for a minute. But anyway, this scope seems to work really great. I took it for the 22 Fun Sunday, and it did really good for me, and I didn't suck as bad as I could have. It looks like it just reaches out and touches the targets for you, and all you got to do is just hold still. We'll probably take it out to the range here, and I'll change the scope mount a little bit so that I can put my camera bolted right onto the scope, and then we'll try a few shots like that. Now, as I was saying, I don't use the type of mounts that were included with the scope. I use this one-piece mount that fits onto the little, you know, the little rail there, and I like that better than the others because it doesn't move when you fire a lot of these. Even with a 22 caliber, you'll find the scope moving around, and I had a lot of trouble with things like that, with the scope moving back and back and back. So once I discovered these one-piece mounts, I haven't had another bit of trouble at all. I don't know who makes them, but if you search for them, you'll find them on Amazon or eBay or tons of other places. So anyway, there is the CVLife 624 by 50 AOE scope. So next step is to haul the little bugger out to the range. I want to take the 9 out and practice with it. Maybe I can get good enough to go to this next Sunday's plate match. Okay, the rifle's on a rest here, so whatever happens, not, because of me shooting good or bad. And I'm mostly just going to shoot the groups. I'm going to try to hold it still on this gun rest, and just, I got the scope aimed at the target, so at the bullseye. So we'll see what we get. I guess snap means it's empty, so that's not bad for a 10-22 using regular old ammo, sitting on a cheap wobbly gun rest. Well, let's see what it looks like down the scope if we can. We'll see. I'll go handheld here. All right, let's try 50 yards. Jammed on me. Rather jammed. That's it, she's empty. Time to go play with 9mm. Okay, these bowling pins are not sitting on a steady surface, so I ought to be able to knock them over if I can hit them. I'm using a 9, so a 9mm would ordinarily not be big enough. Well, I guess I could claim all of them fell down. Wouldn't be fair though, would it? Let's see if I can hit the gopher. Still got a few rounds in here, I think. Oh well, so much for that. You guys don't get to watch me miss the rest of the day. I'm not sure if I mentioned it or not, but I know something really neat with the new scope. It's got enough adjustment on the little eyepiece back there that I was using it without any reading glasses on. The old scope I had to put on my reading glasses, you know. This one, it dawned on me when I went to the 22 fun shoot on Sunday that I was using the thing without my glasses and I could see just fine. So I guess that's a good thing. All right, now let's get on to a story I got to tell you here about when I worked in the evil polluting chemical plant, and I worked with a guy named Mr. D. Well, one of the units there had a control room which was up on the second floor of a tall structure there, and the control room was just a big old concrete building, you know, concrete blocks, had a concrete roof on it. And Mr. D was wandering around up there, and he found a manhole cover. A manway cover up there on top of that control room. And I don't know if you've seen those tall towers in chemical plants and refineries, and they got a hole in the side every so often. Well, they put these big old thick steel discs on there to seal up the hole, but they can take them off and a man can crawl in there because they're usually at least 2 foot in diameter, and the flange is probably a couple inches thick. So they're big and they're heavy. But anyway, Mr. D found this sucker up there on top of the control room, and he stood there looking at it. And what happened is got a little, you know, bearing here on Brian Stangus' last video where he told us about Euler's disk, and that's spelled E-U-L-E-R-S. But anyway, he had a good time spinning this titanium disc and letting it flop around on his desk there. Well, Mr. D saw that big flange there, and he got down and he lifted that sucker up on its edge, and people had been spinning quarters, you know, flipping them with their thumb and spinning them around in the control room, and I guess that's what made him think about it. So he decided to see if he couldn't spin it. So he gave her a big heave and a big spin, and it was spinning there. And then, of course, it started leaning over and over, further and further. And going womp, 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 womp. Because it was big and heavy and on that concrete roof. Well, as impressive as it was outside, inside the control room, it was really impressive. It sounded like a big compressor or something going all to pieces, maybe a big turbine about to fly apart. And it was loud in there, shaking things, womp, 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 you know, faster and faster. And Mr. D emptied out the control room there. He didn't tell anybody who did it but me, because those guys were all upset. He was something else, Mr. D was. Anyway, I guess that ought to do it for today. Y'all keep on keeping on, and if you haven't subscribed, well, go ahead and do it. It won't hurt you a bit. And you'll see a little bell or a gear or something right beside the subscribe button after you click the subscribe. Click on that, and there's a spot in there to check the thing that says notify you whenever I make a new video. Give that a shot. And then if you're not too tired, leave me a comment of some kind. You know, you can tell me the videos are too short, the videos are too long, they make you sick, they're boring. Or you can say, well, I enjoyed that. Whatever. I want to hear the whole works. Okay? And anyway, till later on, y'all keep on keeping on. Bye.